Russia has announced a limited ceasefire as they open humanitarian corridors in 5 Ukrainian cities, including the capital Kyiv. The Russian Defense Ministry says the decision was made at a personal request of French President Emmanuel Macron. Russia has published evacuation routes from Ukrainian cities and reported the information to the UN. But Ukrainian authorities have rejected the proposal, as most of the corridors would travel via Russia or Belarus. The United Nations Security Council has held an emergency meeting to discuss the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine. Our Sarah Walton reports from New York.
Monday's emergency meeting of the Security Council began with a briefing from Martin Griffiths, the Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs at the UN, who said that aid workers on the ground in Ukraine do not sleep. They are working whenever and however they can. He said that violence is increasing in Ukraine and the refugee situation is worsening because people simply can't stay at homes where shops are shut and power and water has been switched off to many areas of the country. He did warn, though, that as it stands, the United Nations simply cannot keep up with all the humanitarian needs of the Ukrainian people. The meeting also heard from Catherine Russell, the head of UNICEF, who said that 27 children had been killed during the fighting and 42 injured. She also said that around half the people fleeing the country are children, thousands of them unaccompanied. She said many children have been traumatized by the events of recent weeks. We also heard member states of the Security Council briefing the meeting. The United States said it was outraged of reports of increased attacks being carried out by Russia targeting civilians, and said that humanitarian needs will only increase unless Russia ceases its military operations in the country. Now, Russia blamed Ukraine for increasing civilian casualties and accused Ukrainian authorities of refusing to allow some towns and cities to be evacuated. It also said that Russia itself is housing Ukrainian refugees and is setting up temporary accommodation points for people that cross into the country. And the Russian ambassador to the UN said that the debate at the United Nations is being unfairly influenced by fake news.
We call on all colleagues in the Security Council to strictly keep in today's meeting to the humanitarian context of the situation in Ukraine. And it's clear that our views diverge from yours, and that you continue to rely on the opinion of Ukrainian politicians and also doubtful or openly mendacious material from social networks in presenting the course and aims of our special operation in Ukraine in an unfavourable light.
Now, Ukraine's ambassador responded to those allegations by saying that Russia has disregarded norms of international humanitarian law. The country has blocked routes for citizens trying to escape fighting and has denied access to humanitarian workers. Sarah Walton, CGTN, New York.